What's good, everyone? Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about observations I've made about the idea that Japan is an energy efficient country, and I'm going to be dividing this into 3 different categories and talking about one way Japan is good in that category and one way Japan could probably improve in that category. So let's go. The first category is an obvious one, I feel, and that is transportation. Japan has some of the world's best public transportation, hands down. The fact that they can move so many people in the larger metropolitan areas and move people across the country on those efficient bullet trains is incredible. You don't have all these people sitting in their own car, stuck in traffic, in and around Tokyo. I mean, of course there are plenty of traffic jams in Japan, but most people move around by public transportation. So they've got that one right. And I feel I should add to that how many people ride bicycles in and around the city, which is another thing that is a benefit to saving energy and not using lots of oil and gas. However, there is one dark part of the transportation industry in Japan, and it's something that's there largely to prop up and support the automobile companies, which obviously have a lot of political clout in Japan, and that is the bi-yearly shaken, or safety inspection system. Every 2 years you have to take your car in, pay a lot of money to get this stamp, have all these things checked and fixed. And yes, I get it, you know, you want to have safe cars on the road, you want to be sure that those cars are safe, but that's not really what it's about. The frequency of the checks and the expense of the checks means you have a situation where people who might want to hold on to their car longer find themselves with a vehicle that's worth less than it will cost to inspect it. And so it ultimately encourages people to buy new cars more often. The fleets or average age of cars on the road in Japan are much younger than places like the United States and elsewhere, because people buy new cars so much more frequently. And when you think of all of the energy that goes into making new cars, the plastics, the oil, the gas, the rare earth, minerals, metals, everything that needs to be used to make a new car, it's not very energy efficient to throw away perfectly usable cars before their real lifespan is up. Okay, second category, and this one maybe isn't as obvious, but it's interesting because it's related to the culture, I believe. Japan is a fastidious, details-oriented culture, and people really go out of their way to try and help society at large through their actions. And so what we have in Japan is a system of really excellent garbage and recycling sorting. In Japan, people take the time to sort their garbage, they take the time to recycle things, and you have really quite detailed systems of recycling. I mean, there's 5 collection days in my neighborhood, and some neighborhoods have 6 where they actually collect on Saturdays. You've got burnable, you've got plastics, you've got cans and bottles, you've got like batteries and larger items like fry pans. I mean, it's all divided into its own separate days, and people actually do it. So it's pretty impressive, and it, I'm sure, helps with the waste management problem that Japan might otherwise have. And of course, recycling can save a lot of energy in the process. All right, so what's the dark side of this fastidious or detail-oriented nature? And that manifests itself as the need to present things beautifully. Japan is the over-packaging culture of the world. You know when you open a package of cookies, whether it's going to be a US package or a Japanese package. If you see the cookies, it's American. If you see more plastic packaging, it's Japanese. Each individual cookie will be individually wrapped in its own plastic sheath. And so when you finish watching a movie and you look at the pile of plastic that you've left on your chest, you have immediate regrets about your lifestyle and you know exactly what you've done to yourself. But obviously that's a lot of extra trash, a lot of extra plastic and oil. And I understand there's actually a good reason for it. It's not just the attention to detail of making something look more beautiful or appear even more clean. Japan is a very humid country, and so if you open up a box of cookies and you don't eat all of them right away, they can get sort of soggy and soft and not fresh pretty quickly because of the weather here. Now, as homes are better insulated and better heated and cooled, you know, maybe that will be a thing of the past, which is actually my next topic, and that is Japanese housing. That is theme number 3. And Japanese housing is really good, really energy efficient from the standpoint that they don't bother to heat and cool rooms that are not in use. I think of homes back in the States where you have people rattling around in a 8-9 room house, and they're really only using 3 of those rooms and the others are just being heated and cooled for what reason? Again, Florida, you probably don't want to turn off your air conditioner entirely because the humidity is going to destroy your home, but like in the northern climates, yeah, probably not a thing. Japan tends to have like just a heater or an air conditioning unit, and it's only on in the rooms that people are using. So you end up using less energy in that respect. However, there is a problem with how energy efficiency in homes works. Unless you're from Hokkaido or Aomori, northern prefectures within Japan, which have been doing this for years, if you're from Kanto area like Tokyo, Yokohama, Ibaraki, Chiba, Yamanashi, where I used to live at altitude and it's cold in the winter, proper insulation is often not a thing. If you're in the process of building a new house and you're working with a housing company and an architect and you're putting it together, those companies are typically putting in pretty good modern insulation, and so you're going to end up with a house that's properly heated and cooled in the summer and not wasting a lot of energy to the atmosphere. However, if you buy a prefabricated house, it's already built, and you look at it and decide to buy it, or you move into most apartments in the greater Tokyo area, the insulation is basically non-existent, and the windows of your place are going to be single pane windows, and so it's cold in the winter and it's hot in the summer, even if you've got your air conditioning or heating units running, because you have no insulation to keep that heat or cool air in your place. And this is best demonstrated, I think, by just comparing the utility bills from when we lived in an apartment to when we moved into our house. And the apartment we lived in was brand new. We were the first people to live in this apartment in Kanagawa, close to Yokohama. And we paid quite a bit to heat and cool our house, and we were only heating and cooling 2 rooms, our main living space and our bedroom. And usually we just turned the bedroom unit on in the evening before we'd go to sleep. And now, by far, we use more electricity in our house now because we have garden lights, we have more lighting in general, we have more rooms in the house than we did in our apartment. But we are paying $50 to $70 less a month, so 5,000 to 7,000 yen less a month in utilities for this larger space than we were in that apartment, which just goes to show how much of that hot and cold air was just escaping out into the atmosphere despite, it being a new apartment. no insulation what to speak of. And so that's a place where, I mean, that's a technology that's been around forever, and that's a place where Japan could really look to improve its energy efficiency, just in general. So I have one more bonus one, and it's a negative one, but it's one I bring up because it's one I've observed and feel that it's low-hanging fruit. It's something that Japan could change for the better fairly easy if people were aware of it and actually decided they were going to do something about it. And that is how in Japan so often convenience stores and supermarkets have completely opened the element refrigerator and freezer units. My local supermarket, the entire freezer section is just open. There's no case doors, there's no coverings, not even a plastic sheet over the freezer section. Whether it's the ice cream part or the frozen vegetables, it doesn't matter. All of the cheese, the milk, the juice, all of the sausage, everything else is just in a refrigerator unit, also completely open. No doors on anything. And I really don't get it. You're just pumping out all that energy into the store, you know, all that excess that's not actually keeping the food frozen, and it's using so much extra energy. Like in the States, sure, some of the cheap supermarkets, all they do is put a plastic sheet down over the milk or something. Still, that's better than nothing, right? So I think Japan could really improve, and it's actually not even an improvement. It's more like going back to the way it was. Oftentimes when you go into older convenience stores, these older neighborhood joints with old ice chests that kept ice cream, those have lids. You have to push the lid back to get the ice cream out. Why supermarkets and convenience stores have gone away from that, I don't know. But everyone loves Japanese convenience stores. I would love them even more if they'd put doors on their drinks. Simple. Save a lot of energy that way. All right. I want to thank you very, very much for watching this. Contact your local convenience store. Let them know they should put a door on their refrigerator unit. And if you liked watching this, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I've gotten above 100 subscribers, which is a lot of fun. Please join the family. And if you have other examples beyond the things that I've talked about, please join in the conversation. Add a few comments below. I love getting comments and suggestions and learning from, you know, the comments of my watchers. So please do so. And I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.